No, please, don't take him.
Hurry!
A young
Stay
fisherman
low!
dropped his torch as something enormous burst from the black river. The water exploded around him. His terrified friends ran without looking back, but he wasn't fast enough. Invisible hands dragged him across the muddy bank. His fingernails tore into the earth. "Help me! Somebody help me!" His cries echoed through the night until they suddenly stopped. The river became calm again, as though nothing had happened. The elders would later say, only one sentence: "The river has claimed another soul." If you enjoy dark folk tales filled with mystery, ancient curses, and unforgettable lessons, make sure you subscribe now. And as you listen, tell us in the comments one thing. Would you ever accept a gift from someone whose true identity you didn't know? Now, let the story begin. The village of Umuoke had one law that no one dared to break. Never answer a voice that calls your name from the river after sunset. Children grew up hearing it. Women repeated it to their daughters. Hunters warned one another before entering the forest. Even strangers passing through were told the same thing before nightfall. Some laughed, most listened. Those who ignored the warning were never seen again. Yet there was one woman who believed fear was created by people too weak to face reality. Her name was Ada. She had never feared the river. She feared hunger. She feared rejection. She feared waking up every morning knowing no matter how hard she worked, life only became more difficult. By sunrise, she was already carrying bundles of firewood toward the market. By sunset, she returned with barely enough coins to buy cassava for herself and her aging mother. Still, people whispered whenever she passed, "There goes the cursed woman. No man wants to marry her. Even fortune avoids her." Ada pretended not to hear them, but every cruel word found a place inside her heart. One afternoon, she finally reached the marketplace, smiling as she spotted her fiancé waiting beneath the old iroko tree. "Chike!" She hurried toward him. "I sold almost everything today. We can finally begin saving for our wedding." He didn't smile. Instead, he avoided her eyes. "Ada, we need to talk." Her smile faded. "What is it?" He remained silent. Then another young woman stepped beside him, wearing expensive coral beads and a bright wrapper no ordinary family in the village could afford. Ada stared at her. "I don't understand." Chike inhaled deeply. "My family has chosen another wife for me." Ada laughed nervously. "What kind of joke is this?" "It isn't a joke. You promised me." "I know. You asked me to wait." "I know. You said we would build our future together." "I know." Every answer stabbed deeper than the last. She looked at the richly dressed woman. "So, this is why?" Cheek lowered his head. "Her father can change my life." Ada felt her heartbeat pounding inside her ears. "So I wasn't enough. You deserve someone better." She stepped backward. "No." Her voice trembled. "You deserve wealth, more than love." "Ada, don't say my name." People had already stopped shopping. They watched in silence. Some shook their heads. Others smiled. Humiliation was entertainment in Umuoke. Tears burned her eyes, but she refused to let them fall in front of them. She whispered, "I would have chosen you, even if you had nothing." Chike couldn't answer. Ada turned and walked away. Only when she reached the lonely path leading home did her legs finally give up beneath her. She collapsed onto the dusty ground. The tears she had fought so hard to hide burst free. "Why?" she cried. "What have I done to deserve this?" No one answered. Not the wind, not the birds, not even the sky. When she finally reached home, her mother was waiting outside. "You've been crying." Ada forced a smile. "I'm fine." "You cannot lie to a mother." She sat beside her. "Chike left me." Her mother's shoulders fell. "Oh, my daughter! He chose money." Her mother held her hand tightly. "Then he never deserved your love. But I gave him everything. I know. I prayed. I know. I waited. I know. So why does God keep taking everything from me? Her mother had no answer. That night, neither of them ate. There was nothing left to cook. Long after her mother fell asleep, Ada sat outside staring into the darkness. Far away, the moon reflected across the river like silver glass. For reasons she couldn't explain, she stood. Almost without thinking, she began walking, step after step, until she reached the riverbank. The water was strangely calm. She knelt. "I've lost everything." Her voice cracked. "If anyone can hear me, anyone at all, tell me what I did wrong." Silence. Then, a voice. Soft, gentle, clear. "You did nothing wrong." Ada froze. She slowly turned around. Standing beneath the moonlight was the most handsome man she had ever seen. His white robe moved, although there was no wind. His eyes shimmered like flowing water. His smile was calm, almost too calm. She swallowed hard. Who are you?" The stranger smiled. "I've been waiting for you for a very long time." Ada's heart began to race. She had never seen this man before, yet somehow he already knew her name. Ada's heart pounded so loudly she could barely hear the gentle movement of the river. She took 2 cautious steps backward. "Who are you?" she asked again, her voice shaking. "How do you know my name?" The stranger smiled, as though he had expected the question. "I know many things, Ada." "I've never seen you before." "No, but I have seen you." A cold chill ran through her body. "You watched me?" "I watched every tear you tried to hide. I watched the day your father died. I watched your mother go hungry so you could eat. I watched the man who promised you forever choose another woman because of her father's wealth." Ada's eyes widened. "Who told you all that?" "No one." "Then how do you know?" "I simply do." She wanted to run. Every instinct told her to leave. But another part of her wanted answers. "You still haven't told me your name." He looked toward the river before answering. "You may call me Namdi." "And where do you come from?" He smiled. "From a place that has existed longer than this village." She frowned. "That's not an answer. It is the only one I can give tonight." Ada folded her arms. "If you only came here to frighten me, you've wasted your time. I'm not here to frighten you." "Then why are you here?" "To change your life." She laughed bitterly. "My life cannot be changed. It already has." He stretched out his hand. The river behind him suddenly rippled. A silver fish leaped from the water and landed gently at his feet before sliding back into the river, as though obeying a command. Ada gasped. "How did you do that?" "The river listens to me." She stared at him in disbelief. "No man can command a river." He ignored her remark. "You deserve more than this village has given you." "I don't need pity." "This isn't pity." "What is it?" "An opportunity." Ada looked into his eyes. For a moment, they seemed impossibly deep, almost endless. "What kind of opportunity?" "You have lived with pain long enough. And I can give you everything they denied you." She shook her head. "No one can." "I can. Wealth." He snapped his fingers. A small clay pot appeared on the ground between them. Ada jumped back. "What?" She slowly opened it. Inside were bright gold coins, real gold. She picked one up with trembling fingers. "This can't be real." "It is." She looked up. "How?" "I told you. The river listens to me." She dropped the coin as though it had burned her hand. "No." "What do you mean, no?" "No honest person becomes rich like this. You have spent years being honest." His voice grew firmer. "What has honesty given you?" She remained silent. Hunger? Silence. Mockery? She lowered her eyes. Loneliness. Tears gathered again. "I asked you a question," she whispered. "Nothing." "Exactly." He stepped closer. "I can give you land." He took another step. "I can give you servants." Another step. "I can make every person who laughed at you bow before you." Ada's breathing became uneven. She imagined her mother sleeping on a real bed instead of a mat. She imagined food every day. She imagined never begging for work again. The pictures in her mind were almost irresistible. "There must be a price," she said quietly. "There is. I knew it." He nodded once. "I ask only one thing." "What?" "Become my wife." Ada blinked. "What?" "My wife." She almost laughed. "You don't even know me." "I know enough. You've spoken to me for only a few minutes. I've waited years for this conversation." She stared at him. "This doesn't make sense. It doesn't have to. I can't marry a stranger. You nearly married a man who abandoned you." His words struck her like a slap. "I am not him." "I know. Then don't compare yourself to him. I am offering what he never could." Ada turned away. "My answer is no." She started walking. His calm voice followed her. "If you leave tonight, your life will remain exactly as it is." She stopped. "You'll spend every morning searching for work." She didn't move. "You'll watch your mother grow weaker." Her hands tightened. "You'll grow old in poverty." A tear rolled down her cheek. "And when you die," he paused, "no one will remember your name." She slowly turned back. "What if I say yes? You will never know hunger again. My mother? She will never suffer again. My home? It will become the finest in Umuoke. And the people who mocked me? They will envy you." His voice softened. "I ask for loyalty." "Only loyalty?" "Only loyalty." Ada searched his face. He looked sincere. Too sincere. Something about him felt unnatural. Yet she could not explain why. She looked at the river, then at the gold, then toward the dark path leading back to her empty home. "My mother always told me nothing good comes easily." He smiled. "Wise woman." She also said, "Desperate people make dangerous decisions." "They do. So why should I trust you?" "Because no one else has ever offered to save you." His words echoed inside her mind. No one else. Not Chike. Not the villagers. Not even the people she had spent years helping. Only this mysterious stranger. Minutes passed in silence. Finally, she whispered, "If I become your wife, you will never regret it." He extended his hand. Ada hesitated. Her entire future rested on one decision. Slowly, very slowly, she placed her hand into his. The moment their fingers touched, the river exploded with a thunderous roar. The water rose high into the air, spinning like a giant wall around them. Ada screamed, "What is happening?" The stranger smiled for the first time with something that wasn't kindness. It was triumph. The wind howled. The river glowed with an eerie blue light. Deep beneath the water, hundreds of shadowy figures appeared to be watching. Then Ada heard them. Voices, dozens of them, whispering together, "Our bride, our bride, our bride." Fear gripped her heart. She tried to pull her hand away. "I changed my mind." The stranger's grip tightened. "I'm afraid," he said, his eyes no longer looking human. "It's too late for that." The river swallowed the sound of her scream. Ada's scream echoed beneath the roaring water. She squeezed her eyes shut, expecting the river to pull her into its dark depths. But it never happened. The wind stopped. The strange voices disappeared. Silence returned. Slowly, she opened her eyes. She was still standing on the riverbank. Her clothes were dry. The moon still hung above the water. The stranger had released her hand. He smiled as though nothing unusual had happened. What did you do to me?" Ada whispered. "Nothing you did not agree to. I heard voices. You heard witnesses." "Witnesses to what?" "To our covenant." Her face turned pale. "I don't understand." "You will." Before she could ask another question, he stepped backward. His feet touched the surface of the river. Instead of sinking, he stood upon it as though it were solid ground. Ada's breath caught in her throat. "No." He looked at her one last time. "When the sun rises, your life will begin again." Then he slowly walked across the water. Not a single ripple followed him. Halfway across the river, a thick mist surrounded his body. Within seconds, He was gone. Ada stood frozen. Her mind refused to believe what her eyes had seen. She finally ran home, not daring to look back. All night she lay awake. Every time she closed her eyes, she heard the whispers again. Our bride, our bride, our bride. By dawn, she convinced herself it had all been a nightmare. I must have been exhausted, she muttered. I imagined everything. She stepped outside to fetch water. Then she stopped. Several large baskets sat in front of her hut. They were filled with yams, fresh vegetables, dried fish, palm oil, rice, and neatly folded wrappers far finer than anything she had ever owned. Ada? Her mother stepped outside, rubbing her sleepy eyes. What is all this? I don't know. Her mother looked around the compound. Who brought these? No one answered. There wasn't a single footprint in the soft morning soil. Before either of them recovered from the shock, another surprise arrived. A wealthy trader from the neighboring village entered their compound with 2 servants, carrying heavy sacks. Good morning. Ada stared at him. Can I help you? The old man smiled warmly. I believe this land belongs to you. My land. He handed her a rolled document. My late brother owed your father a great debt. Before he died, he instructed me to repay your family. Ada frowned. My father never mentioned this. He was an honorable man. The trader nodded respectfully. The debt has grown over the years. He pointed toward the sacks. Inside is the full payment. When the servants opened them, silver coins sparkled in the sunlight. Her mother nearly collapsed. This is impossible. The trader bowed politely. Our business is finished. He turned and walked away. Ada ran after him. Wait, he stopped. Who sent you? No one. There has to be someone. He simply smiled. Some debts are paid later than expected. Then he disappeared down the dusty road. Ada stood speechless. By noon, the entire village had heard. People crowded outside her home. Some admired the sacks of silver. Others counted the baskets of food. The same women who had mocked her only yesterday now forced smiles onto their faces. One of them stepped forward. Ada, we always knew you were blessed. Another nodded eagerly. Yes, we never doubted it. Ada looked at them in disbelief. Yesterday they had laughed at her. Today they called her blessed. She said nothing. That evening, her mother prepared the biggest meal they had eaten in years. As they sat together, her mother smiled through tears. God has remembered us. Ada forced a smile. Had God remembered them, or had someone else? She couldn't answer. Days turned into weeks. The blessings continued. More traders arrived with unexpected gifts. A distant relative gave Ada fertile farmland. Her harvests became the envy of every farmer. No matter what seed she planted, it flourished. Her goats multiplied. Her chickens filled the compound. Her small hut was replaced by a beautiful home with carved wooden pillars and a shining zinc roof. People who once ignored her now greeted her with deep respect. Ada, we've been looking for you. You should visit our family. Our son would make a wonderful husband. She almost laughed. Where were all of you before? No one could answer. Even Chike came looking for her. She found him waiting outside her gate one afternoon. Ada. She looked at him coldly. What do you want? I made a mistake. You certainly did. I was blinded by wealth. She folded her arms. And now, I know no woman compares to you. She smiled. It wasn't a smile of love. It was a smile of victory. Leave, Ada, please. I said leave. I still love you. No, her voice was calm. You love what I have become. He stepped closer. We can fix this. There is nothing to fix. She looked him directly in the eyes. You traded me for gold. She pointed toward the road. Now go back to the gold you chose. His shoulders dropped. Without another word, he walked away. Her servants watched in silence. For the first time in her life, Ada felt powerful. That night, she stood outside her beautiful home, staring proudly at everything she owned. Then she heard it, a familiar voice, soft, gentle. "Have you enjoyed my gifts?" Her smile disappeared. She turned toward the river, standing beneath the moonlight. The mysterious stranger was waiting, exactly where she had first met him. He hadn't changed, not even a little. Ada walked slowly toward him. "You? I kept my promise." She nodded. "You did. And have I ever lied to you?" "No," he smiled. "Then it is time for you to keep your promise." Fear returned to her chest. "What do you mean?" He extended his hand. "Come with me." "Where?" "Our home." She looked toward the river. "I don't understand." "You will. I can't leave my mother. You'll return before sunrise." "Why?" His smile slowly faded. "Because tonight," he said quietly, "you will meet my family." The river behind him began to bubble. One by one, dark human-shaped figures started rising from beneath the water. None of them had faces, yet every one of them was staring directly at Ada. Then, together, they whispered the same chilling words she had heard weeks before. "Our bride, our bride." Ada's legs refused to move. The faceless figures stood waist-deep in the glowing river, perfectly still, their hollow voices drifting through the night. "Our bride, our bride, our bride." She stepped back, her breathing quickening. What are they?" The stranger looked at them with quiet pride. "They are the ones who came before you." Ada's mouth went dry. "Came before me? My brides?" A wave of fear crashed over her. "You said nothing about this. You never asked." She shook her head. "No, this isn't what we agreed to. We agreed to a covenant. You promised me wealth, and I delivered. You promised my mother would never know hunger. And has she?" Ada fell silent. Everything he had promised had come true. Every single word. The stranger stretched out his hand. "Come. I don't want to. You must." "I said no." The river suddenly churned. A towering wave rose behind him, before crashing back into the water, without touching the shore. The faceless figures slowly disappeared beneath the surface. Only the stranger remained. His eyes no longer looked human. They shimmered like deep water beneath moonlight. His voice became colder. "A covenant cannot be broken because of fear." Ada swallowed hard. "What exactly are you?" He smiled. "I am the keeper of these waters." "You mean, the stories your elders tell around the fire are true?" Her heartbeat raced. "No, I have been called many names." He took another slow step toward her. "River King." Another step. "Guardian." Another. "Spirit." Finally, he stood only a few feet away. "But to you," his smile widened, "I am your husband." Ada felt the world spinning. She turned and ran. Branches scratched her arms as she raced through the darkness. Behind her, she heard no footsteps, no laughter, only the steady sound of flowing water. When she reached home, she slammed the door shut and leaned against it, struggling to breathe. Her mother hurried from her room. "Ada! What happened?" Ada hesitated. She couldn't tell her the truth. Who would believe her? I saw someone." "A thief?" She slowly shook her head. It was nothing. Her mother placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. "You've worked too hard. You need rest." Ada forced a smile. "I think you're right." But she knew sleep would never come. The next morning, she tried convincing herself it had all been another nightmare. She buried herself in work. She inspected her farms, spoke with workers, counted bags of harvested grain. Everything looked perfect. Yet she couldn't shake the feeling that unseen eyes were following her. As the sun began to set, one of her servants approached. "My lady, what is it?" And the cattle refused to drink from the river today. "So? They've never done that before." Before Ada could answer, another servant came running. "My lady! What now?" "The fish in the pond. What about them? They're all floating." She hurried over. Every single fish was dead. Not one showed signs of injury. Her stomach tightened. That night, a violent storm rolled across the village. Thunder shook the earth. Rain pounded every rooftop. Just before midnight, a desperate knock echoed through her door. Bang! Bang! Ada opened it to find a terrified fisherman soaked from head to toe. "My lady." "What happened?" "My younger brother is gone." "What do you mean, gone?" "He heard someone calling his name from the river." Ada froze. He said a beautiful woman was asking for help. Tears streamed down the man's face. He walked into the water and never came back. Her blood ran cold. The stranger's words echoed inside her mind. "I kept my promise." The next morning, the entire village gathered along the riverbank. The young man's canoe floated empty near the shore. There was no body, only his fishing net. An elder slowly knelt beside the water. After several moments, he stood and faced the crowd. "The river has taken another soul." A frightened silence spread through the villagers. Then another voice spoke. It began after Ada became rich. Everyone turned. A woman stepped forward. "I've lived here all my life." She pointed toward Ada. "We've never seen so many disappearances." Another villager nodded. "Every full moon she's seen walking toward the river." Someone else shouted. "Maybe she's the reason." The crowd erupted. "She's hiding something. She's cursed. She's feeding the river." Ada raised both hands. "No, you have to believe me. I don't know what's happening." But fear had already poisoned the crowd. The same people who had once begged for her friendship now looked at her as if she were a monster. Only one person defended her. Her elderly mother stepped in front of her. "My daughter would never harm anyone," one angry villager replied. "Then explain where her wealth came from." Her mother had no answer. Neither did Ada. That evening, she locked herself inside her room. She fell to her knees. "What do you want from me?" she cried. The room became strangely cold. Then the familiar voice answered from behind her. "You already know." Ada slowly turned. The stranger stood in the corner of the room. The walls were locked. The windows were closed. Yet somehow, he was inside. "There is a debt," he said quietly. "And tonight, I have come to collect the first payment." Ada backed away until she hit the wall. "What? Payment?" she whispered. The River King smiled. "You accepted my gifts. Every blessing demanded a life. The souls the river claimed were the price of your prosperity." Ada's heart shattered. "I never agreed to innocent people dying." "You agreed to the covenant," he replied calmly. "Whether you knew the cost or not changes nothing." That night, Ada ran to the village square and confessed everything. The villagers stared in horror as she told them about the stranger, the gold, and the covenant. Some believed her, most did not. The elders, however, exchanged frightened glances. The oldest among them spoke. The ancient stories were true. He ordered every villager to stay away from the river until sunrise. Then he turned to Ada. "There is only one way to end a covenant with the River King." "What must I do?" Ada asked through tears. "You must willingly return everything you received and offer yourself in exchange for every soul the river has taken." Without hesitation, Ada nodded. Before dawn, the entire village followed her to the riverbank. The River King emerged from the mist. "Have you come home, my bride?" Ada stepped forward. "I have come to end this." One by one, she threw her gold into the river. The silver followed, her jewelry, her fine clothes, the deeds to her land, everything. The river swallowed them all. Finally, she looked back at her mother. "I'm sorry." Her mother cried out and reached for her, but the elders held her back. Ada faced the River King. "I give back every gift." He smiled. "It is too late." She shook her head. "No. I give you the only thing that was ever truly mine, my life." She stepped into the water. The river exploded with light. A deafening roar echoed across the valley. The faceless spirits rose from beneath the surface, but this time, their chains shattered one by one. Their whispers changed. "We are free. We are free. We are free," the River King screamed as the river swallowed him beneath the black water. Then, silence. The water became calm. The mist disappeared, and for the first time in generations, no voice ever called another villager from the river after sunset. Ada was never seen again. Some believe she drowned. Others say she became the river's eternal guardian, ensuring no innocent soul would ever be deceived as she had been. To this day, the people of Umuoke leave small white flowers beside the river every full moon, not to worship it, but to remember the woman whose desperate choice nearly destroyed them all, and whose final sacrifice. And the elders still teach their children, never accept gifts whose true price is hidden. Every shortcut has a cost, and every covenant demands payment. Narrator. Outro. Some blessings are actually traps, and some bargains are too expensive to understand until it's too late. If you enjoyed this dark African folktale, subscribe to the Fable Throne for more stories of ancient curses, forgotten spirits, and timeless lessons. Until next time, remember, not every helping hand is meant to save you. Sometimes, it is only leading you deeper into the darkness.